Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for Project Life. This is week 45, so stick around. Hi everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thank you so much for joining me for this Project Life video. I am working on week 45 and I am using so many of the quarterly storyteller kit. Q&A was the theme. And I have all of these cards that I'm going to do journaling on, and then tons of photos. In fact, it was extremely difficult to choose just one photo from each day, but I somehow managed to do that. But let me speed the camera up and start working on these pages. So I made this title card using the background of this vellum is from Studio Calico. Really, I just looked for a peach or tan colored, somewhat blank card that would look nice with the other colors in this the week, which I'm picking up on like the tans, peaches, and teals, or like robin's egg blue, I guess this is. And so I have the November. That's the only thing I'm using from the most recent Stories by the Month kit from Allie Edwards is the November vellum 4x6 card that I'm working on right now for the title. And then I just use alphas to spell out, or to initial week, and then I use my Sharpie creative marker for 45 and then stamp the date, which was the 3rd through the 9th. Now this is when we went to Disney. So like I said, it's a very minimal journaling. It is not at all an accurate representation of the zillion photos I actually have from our vacation. So that will be documented in a separate Disney album. Probably sometime next, maybe by February I can start working on it. That's my goal anyway. We'll see. But anyhow, I have a picture here on the left of Nora and Matt on our arrival day, the 3rd, Monday. We got in really early. Our flight was direct from Albany to Orlando, and we arrived around 10, so we got to the hotel around 11, and then we went over, took the Skyliner to the Caribbean Beach Resort where Nora wanted to get some lunch, and we were pixie dusted the first day, which is like basically just means people giving you something or doing something kind. And I'll talk more about that in my Disney album videos, because Nora ended up loving being pixie dusted and looking for pixie dust around our resort as well. So I just journaled a little bit on that label sticker from Studio Calico, which is also where those alpha stickers are from. Let's see, what else am I using? I've got a bunch of puffy stickers from American Crafts. They're from older Maggie Holmes collections. I've got these enamel heart stickers from one of like the peachy cheap planner deals. And what else? Some leftover stars that are from Paper Person Shop. And there are a few die cuts and chipboard pieces from the Q&A Storyteller kit as well. All right, so the middle row is a picture of the three of us in front of the fountain in France by the Ratatouille ride, which was the first thing we did when we got to the park. It was our first park day on the 4th. And then the next picture is also at Epcot, and the three of us in front of Tahiti. You can see her up in the top left corner there. She is in the area of the park where there is Moana's Living with the Land, or something like that. Is that the way of the land or water? I don't know. It's really cool. It's an interactive like water display, and so that was super fun. And so I journaled about that on the card that is just sitting there on the right side. And I'm using my Sharpie creative marker to write a little title. And then after I filmed, and I ended up taking a fine liner pen, like what brand is it? I have to look, sorry, because I completely forgot. It is a Stabilo, the .88 fine liner markers. I love those. And so I used it to outline all of the Sharpie creative marker words because I felt like it kind of got lost on the page. So I like it much better with the bold outline, which you can see in the photos on Instagram. So underneath, I just stamped the date, and then I wrote about it being our first day. Even though we were tired, we were ready to explore, that it was super fun to rope drop Ratatouille and then use our lightning lane passes, meeting new characters. I actually met Winnie the Pooh and I cried, which is a whole other story, but didn't make it in this particular project, and that's okay. This is a very, very, very zoomed out look at our week. So like I said, there's going to be so much more detail in the actual Disney album that I'm going to put together. And then talked about seeing the fireworks at the end and meeting some new friends as well. Then the bottom row, I just found this card that was the perfect shade of blue with the palm trees that says deep breaths. So I included that as just sort of a placeholder. And then on the next slot there, I have 2 3x4 items in a 4x6 pocket. Just taped them to the back of the photos that I used the week before, and talked about our trip to Disney Springs. So we basically, on our trip, we alternated. We did a park day, then a non-park day. And this first non-park day, we went to Disney Springs. Sorry, my kitten is catnip crazy in the background. And we just went shopping. Nora made a custom ring at Kendra Scott, which is what that photo is, using her birthday money from Grandma. And we just had so much fun walking around. And in fact, Matt's high school band, not his current obviously, but the high school he went to, they were there performing, so we got to see them, which was crazy because he's from a very, very small area in Michigan. And of course, we got some food. We had dinner at the Rainforest Cafe, and they came and sang happy birthday to Nora, which embarrassed her, and we had the giggles, and it was the best. But these are tiny details that I plan to share more of in that documenting series that I'll be doing in the next year. All right, so let's take a close-up look at the finished side of the left spread, and then I'm moving on to the right. And this page protector is all 3x4 pockets because I knew I was going to have photos and journaling using 3x4 cards. So I have a couple pictures from Epcot. The first one is Tron. No, sorry, not Epcot, Magic Kingdom. Which was our 4th day, November 6th. And then we got a lot of pictures taken. We bought the photo pass this year, which I highly recommend, and I'm sad we had never done before. It was just so much easier, and the picture quality is amazing. So I talked about going on Tron and meeting some new characters, writing everything we wanted to, including a couple of new ones that we'd never done together, such as Haunted Mansion and Pirates. Matt ended up losing his phone, but then someone had turned it in, so thankfully he got it back pretty quickly. And we ended the very long day watching the fireworks and the new Starlight Parade, which was really cool. And Nora was so tired she fell asleep waiting for the bus on the way back at the end of the night. And the picture on the right is just the 3 of us in front of the circus area of the park. The middle row, I ended up doing some stamping using a bunch of different stamp sets. I have some are from Studio Calico. I have 2 new ones that I've been holding on to for over a year. I bought from Social Paper Plan. She has the cutest Disney digital kits, physical items, and the stamps, and I know they sell out so fast. So when I saw her releasing these over a year ago, I was like, let me get those, knowing that we were going to be going to Disney around the time that Christmas decor would be up. So I used those to put together this little tag card. I think that card is a leftover from the Colors Storyteller kit. And I just chose it obviously because the blue matches the theme that I'm going with, the color scheme rather. And I stamped All I See Is Magic, Best Trip Ever. And then I used the little Starburst firework Mickeys to decorate it and put a few little teeny tiny Mickeys on there. It turned out super cute. And then just for some fun, I added a little bit of the paint pen around the border. Middle picture is mini golfing. We went to a course that had 18 holes in the winter theme and then the summer theme. Super fun. It was one of our favorite things we did, and it was included in the package that we purchased. So it was great that we were able to go and enjoy that. And we also ended up doing a ton of other things that didn't make it. We explored the boardwalk area a couple different nights. It was such a great trip. Honestly, it was the best. So I talked about that, and then going to Animal Kingdom Lodge that night for our reservations we had at Tasana, which is awesome because that's the restaurant where you have the view of the animals outside. So, you're just eating dinner and a giraffe walks by or a zebra. It's just surreal. And I totally screwed up and wrote mini golf -5 for day 5 on the bottom of the card. So I tried to cover it up by stamping ho 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 across the bottom. It's a hot mess, but that's okay. It's, my first day back in the craft room and playing with my products, so it is what it is. give me a pass, if you will. And then the bottom row is just a picture of us in front of the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom, and a picture of Nora and Matt in front of the entrance to Typhoon Lagoon, which is what we did on our Sunday, which was the non-park day. So I journaled a little bit about those two things on the What's the Story Q&A card, and wrote AK Day 6 and Typhoon Lagoon 7 with the dates, which were November 8th and 9th, and talked about getting there. We didn't think it was going to be that busy. We knew it would be kind of busy because it was a weekend, but it was really, really packed all morning. We were blown away by the shows. We had never seen the shows. There's like the Festival of the Lion King. We didn't see the bird show. There was another one. Oh, Nemo. Those two shows were amazing. Like, you're looking at Broadway quality shows almost, and they're obviously like 20 minutes, 30 minutes long. But Nora even got selected. Like, we got pixie dusted again, and we got to sit in the very front row at the Lion King show, and she got chosen to have a little part in it, which was really cute. And I was sharing that in my Instagram stories. I shared as much as I could in my stories without, trying to be too distracted from the present. So if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely give me a follow over there, because I share a lot in my stories, or I try to. And then rounded out the weekend going to the beach. Not really the beach, the water park, but it has sand everywhere, so it felt like a beach. And it was great because it ended up storming a little bit in the afternoon, which was fine because then it wasn't busy, and we got to go on all the slides and all of the coaster slides, and we got like a seat with shade and everything. It was great. So it wasn't crowded, and we got to do everything we wanted, and we only had to sit out of the water for like an hour, and we just like ate our lunch and relaxed, and it was fantastic. So that is going to wrap up this week. I will continue to document our Disney trip into the next week, to go into Tuesday. So this is not the end, but it's the end of this video. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell, and I will see you guys for the next one. Take care, friends, and remember that you are enough. Bye.